Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to discuss Linux package manager. In particular, I'm going to discuss a Rocky Linux package manager as well as Red Hat and Ubuntu. Both Red Hat Enterprise Linux and Rocky are using same package manager in opposed to Ubuntu, which is using a different package manager. So let's get started. I'm going to go through a slideshow from the current slide. And as you can see, we're discussing package manager on Linux Ubuntu, as well as a Linux Red Hat version, and the Rocky, which is Community Enterprise Edition version for Red Hat equivalent. This is a Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9 and Rocky Linux 9 and Ubuntu 22.04. So the Ubuntu 22.04 is using apt, which is application package toolkit, and apt-get, apt-install, all those on apt-cache. We're going to discuss those ones, as well as we're going to discuss RPMs, Red Hat Package Manager that is supported on all three platforms, as well as we're going to discuss YUM, Yellow Dot Update Manager in DNF, which is the newer version of YUM. And then that's going to be discussed on Rocky as well as Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So let's get started with Rocky Linux first. I'm going to go to a VM that I've already started. So if I see the Rocky version 9.2 that's running, currently I'm going to just log in to the screensaver. Once you log in, let me just type in the password correctly. And then clear my screen here. As you can see, I am running as root ID.u, because a lot of the packages that you could install, you're installing it as root. Before I do that one, let me just get out of root and ID-un. It shows my user ID as a user ID and name as Wahid. So ID-a, it tells me all the information about it. ID-gn as group name is also Wahid. So if I just clear my screen and say cat -n etc os-release, operating system release version is a 9.2 of a Rocky version, and it's Fedora distribution, as you can see here. Fedora distribution, and the version is Rocky Linux 9.2, and then this is the code name Blue Onyx. So at this time, there's a number of other files, start release file. You can see that Rocky Red Hat dash release is a symbolic link to Rocky dash release. So when you say cat etc Red Hat dash release, it will tell you the same thing as the one you say Rocky, because Red Hat dash release is symbolic link to Rocky dash release, which is showing 9.2 version. You can also get the version and build information in uname-r, showing you the build version. Uname-a gives you all the parameter, uname-m machine type, uname-p platform, uname-s system name, uname-o operating system, and uname-kernel name is going to give you the same as system-s. So a lot of these informations are there. If you clear a screen and say uname-help, you see all those parameters as well. So you're welcome to choose the one that you want, but I'm going to clear my screen here with clear command or tput clear command will do the same thing. Control L does the same thing. So -L, Control L, it will clear screen. pwd, Control L, it will just do it. So there's a number of ways you can clear the command or clear screen. At this time, I'm going to search for all the list of repositories that are available for me. So I could say yum repo list. If I do yum repo list, is similar to say DNF repo list. As you can see there by default, the MySQL connection and other ones are not there, but because I just enabled them and installed MySQL, and then also the ePal is not there, I just enabled that one. I'm going to show you how to disable them, how to uninstall, because I'm gonna practice something on Rocky version, and that you could learn how to uninstall packages, and then on the Red Hat we will install the same packages and enable the repository, and that is not by default enabled. So with that in mind, let's just go for the yum repo list. For example, I could say which yum yellow dog update manager. It tells me that I'm running yum user ben there. And if I say type of user ben yum, that's going to show that a symbolic link to DNF-3. And then actually, if I do file on it, not type, file is going to show that it's a symbolic link on that one. Similarly, if I do file on DNF, that's also symbolic 3. But if I do on DNF-3, it says it's a Python script. And if I want to see the content of that one with the cat -n, there's about 63 lines, 62 lines. All of them are just these Python lines of the script, loading the module, setting the path, and all that details with that. So if you say yum list, it will get all the list of repository that are there. So when we are discussing package manager, you should be informed that at both Red Hat and Linux Ubuntu, both Red Hat and Rocky version were using either yum or DNF or RPM to just do Red Hat Package Manager. RPM dash QA will give you all the list of RPMs that are installed. Query all. And if I just looking for something like OpenSSH, anything with open, then you can see that one. And if I make it exact OpenSSH, then it is there. I could also say, for example, on the RPM list that I'm doing here, I could also say, for example, show me OpenSSH binaries and files that are installed by just doing, just running this command in front of RPM -QL query, and then $, and then just run this other one as the argument. So it will give you the input to the RPM-QL program. And you can see if I just say grep -i bin, all the binaries list of the files that are for OpenSSH is there. Similarly, if I see instead of this one, I say OpenSSL, I can get the OpenSSL stuff. Similarly, if I just do something else, obviously, whatever is the package, let's say HTTP, if HTTP is installed, then I can get a list of them there. So, and then the other thing, but this is RPM stuff. So you can do RPM a number of ways. You could query them, and you can do a while read. If I just do this syntax here, like this, and then I say, well, now I want to just do this one while read var do. The variable that I'm doing here, say echo working on $var now. So you could work on a variable, say RPM -QL $var, and then say sleep 2 seconds, and then done. So this statement is going to just use this as input, pipe it to the while read variable, and then puts it into a variable, and then each variable will have this line of a statement first. And then it's gonna just go to working on that one first, then RPM -QL on that one, and then sleep 2 seconds, then it goes again back to the loop of while statement, read the second line, and then as many as there are, it will just produce it. And notice that it is doing that. And then when it's done, after 2 seconds, it stops. And if you just go up here, it says working on the package name, and then listed. Working on package name now, work listed. On the first one, working on package name now, and so on listed. So that option is there. In addition, what I did here on the back tick, right here, with a $sign, you could also do a backtick command that is equivalent to running the same command with the backtick, and it will just do the same thing. So there's a number of options that dynamically you could get an input of one command to be an output, to produce an output for the second command or third command. So that is listed to RPMs. RPM stand for Red Hat Package Managers, and then RPM list will just give you all of them. I mean RPM list, RPM dash list. Oh, sorry, dash QA, and the dash list is for the other one. So when you do RPM dash help, you will get a list of the commands that you can do on RPM. So dash A for all, Q for query, and then as you see the files, you can do it, and QL for listing it. There's a number of other ones that we have shown you on the previous one, like dash H for install hash code, dash I for install it, dash V for verbose, and dash E for erasing it, and so on. All the dash uppercase U for update, and so on. So you have these options here. At the same time, Yum has a list of commands here. So Yum list is going to just show you there. Yum list dash install. It's going to show you what is installed here. Yum list dash available is going to show you what's available. Maybe I typed it incorrectly. Available, and then that would be just I missed the L, that's why. So now it's corrected, and it is going to show what is available. And then if you just do a word count on available here, similarly for dash install what is there. And notice if I just change the Yum to DNF, because Yum is using DNF-3, which is DNF is also using dash DNF3. So it is similar. So whether you say dash available here, you could get a list of them in there. And if you don't do a word count on it, obviously, you get the entire list with DNF as well. And then similarly for DNF dash list, for what is available, it's all these packages are available for you to install. Similarly, you could say DNF repo list. That would give you the same thing, and DNF Yum repo list will give you the same, because again, Yum is symbolic link to DNF. And so with Red Hat version 7, 6, I mean anything below 8, 7, and 6, and 5, they're using Yum. But starting with version 8, a year ago, we were told that eventually Yum will be deprecated. That's why it's symbolic link to for compatibility reason now. It is going to be replaced with DNF eventually. So start using DNF, that's what I'm saying. And that would be easier to just remember all the commands that you're doing. And then if you just say Yum provides HTOP, for example, this is going to show you what is the name of the package that provides HTOP. Or Yum provides, let's say, SSH. The SSH binary, or Yum install G++, or Yum install provides Python 3. So whichever version that you're looking for, if that package is available, then you need to install that package for it. For example, Python 64-bit for Python 3.9 interpreter would be the package that you can install. So if you say yum search Python 3, we'll just look for Python 3, all of the packages that are related to that. And then similarly, yum search GCC for GNU C collection compiler, or G++ for GNU C++ compiler, you could get all that information as well. So in order to just uninstall the package, you could also, in this case, I'm going to just do a let me just not do sudo yet. I'm gonna just say DNF search MySQL workbench. So if I just do that one and I say, well, that's good, it's already installed, maybe I could just say it is there. I could do a DNF, let's say info, and then it does not have any last metadata information on it, but I could just do, say, DNF, let's say DNF, and then list MySQL workbench. So it is not showing, but I could do, like, for example, let me just do RPM minus QA, and then grep minus I, MySQL workbench. So that's good enough. If I have the package name here, then I could say, well, that's the entire package name here, as you can see. And if I just want to get RPM minus QL for listing it, and then $, and then run this other command, RPM minus QA, grep minus I, MySQL workbench, MySQL dash workbench, that is good enough, and then it's going to list all the packages that are there. So if I say which MySQL workbench, that is also there, clearing my screen, which it shows it. So now I can type in MySQL dash workbench because it's on the user bench, and then it's gonna run. But notice it says the version that you're running is not unsupported operating system. So it might be version 8 that I need to do it. So let me just say exit out of this one and then become root here. Okay, so I am a root here, and then I'm going to show you one of the, for example, DNF repo list. So a repo list, sorry, DNF repo list. It shows me that I have MySQL community version that is there, and that's because I have a file here with MySQL store.sh that I wrote the path to the script where it's supposed to have it. So cat minus n MySQL dash workbench $. As you can see on line 2, I have installed this dev.mysql.com, MySQL 80, Enterprise Linux 9, because my version of the operating system is Enterprise Linux 9. But by default, this documentation that I found out, it is using a version 8.0, as you can see here. So what I'm going to do is just switch it to Enterprise version 8. Maybe version 9 is for Enterprise version 9 is not supported yet. So I'm going to say vim MySQL workbench, and then change the 9, Enterprise 9 to 8. And now I'm going to just do this. And then at this time, first I'm going to say, since the package is installed, I'm going to say DNF remove my SQL work bench dash community. So once I uninstall the MySQL Workbench community there, then I'll just rerun it to see if I could just install it and it would be the correct version. So now it is done. What I could do is clear a screen here, have my SQL Workbench. Again, this is the DNF install. So I'm going to do this and then just run this one after. The DNF-Y update, I'm going to also enable that one because every time you do a system update, you make sure that your system is up to date for it. So I'm going to just take this thing out of comment, and the DNF and dash yum update. It's gonna take a while to do that one, so I'll let it run, and then I'll show you on other screen what else I could do. Now I have cut my SQL Workbench. I have those ones, so I'm gonna say bash -x and then run the command. In order to just run this shell script that is not executable, I say bash -x, meaning that run it in debug mode. So it shows each line and then it shows the output after it. So I'm going to say MySQL and then I press the tab and it will give you that. Now the DNF dash update, DNF dash Y update runs first, and then now that one is going to update all the packages on my system. The DNF-Y update, when you run it once, it will run the first time, and then the second time you run it, it says your system is up to date, so you don't have to run it all the time. But having it there, it will be fast the second time. So it did already, and some of the packages that it was done previously, it already did all the 27 ones. And then the MySQL Community 8 version 8 was also run here. And there's something that MySQL Workbench, you can see, and that it gave me the no best to use only, and then skip broken. So when you get something like this, most likely it is the pointer to where you're reading the RPMs from there. It might be not the right version, so you just have to look for the proper one. Let me just see. The dash skip broken usually does not help, but dash no best cut MySQL. Okay, and so which MySQL Workbench? It is not installed, so I'm gonna try that one. Cut start MySQL start. So I'm gonna do this DNF dash install Workbench community. I believe this one is the one that may have had an issue. Let me just copy that one and try it. This one, it looks like it did it properly. Already installed. Yeah, DNF repo list. You can see that MySQL community 8.0 is already installed. So the part that it failed, that MySQL start. This one is a DNF-Y install MySQL Workbench community. This is the part that it failed, and then let's try no best. And then if we do in dash skip broken, it says that it's complete now. So the broken one is okay. Now it should be okay, nothing to do. This one is good. Let's do which MySQL Workbench, and it's still not there. I believe the version of, because it's EPAL Red Hat dash release, this is 9.2. The version that we are using 8.2 is not gonna work there. Which MySQL bench. So at this time, we have no room but to install the version that is 9. So MySQL there, and change the EL8, because the version that we are running our system is 9.2. It is a little bit newer than the older version. So I'm gonna have to do that bash minus X MySQL, and then MySQL workbench. So the DNF YAM update runs and everything runs successfully because it finds the right version. So 9.2 that I had changed was the supporting version there. Then and the other part, whether MySQL workbench starts or not, that is the second thing that we could investigate at a later date. But for now, DNF is installing it properly. As you can see, all the packages for MySQL is getting installed. And then MySQL Workbench Community 8.0, Enterprise Linux 9. That's, if you're pointing to version 8, that was saying that it was broken. So the version 9 that I had on the system was accurate. And then I have to just make one more adjustment on my script somewhere, and programming directory that I just did earlier. I will make that one after I download it for version 9. And in fact, while this one is doing it, I'm going to just go to localhost. Yeah, localhost here. I'm going to do SSH -L wlutfi www.mywebuniversity.com. I log in there, clear my screen here, sudo -. Actually, I don't need to become root here. CD2 programs, and then CD2 Red Hat, and then them MySQL start.sh, and then this one, the 9 is there. That's good. So I don't have to change that one to 8. I'm going to save that one. That's fine to the screen. I didn't need to update that one. So this one is successfully completed. You can see MySQL Workbench is installed. So if I just say here, which MySQL dash workbench, it is there. And then if I just open a new terminal here by clicking here, and then say which MySQL workbench, it is there. File user bin MySQL workbench. It is executable, Bourne shell actually. And then if I just say, instead of file, I'm going to say more on it, since it's a bash script. You can see that it is running MySQL there, and there's 22%. It's not that many lines in it, and that's good. Then I can check further on this one at some point. So MySQL workbench, it starts and it tells you the version unsupported. You could say don't show me this, and then you can start the database connected, and everything. But at this time, I'm going to just leave this one for another session. So I'm going to close the MySQL here workbench, and we're done with MySQL workbench. Let's just go back to the root that I'm logged on here, and then clear my screen here. And then the next thing I want to show you with the package manager is handling a package like htop. So and now we have done that MySQL workbench. I want to just uninstall it. And in order to uninstall it, obviously you just say DNF. When you do the, let me just do this, cat MySQL workbench, you can see that when I did this one, DNF-y install, we installed this package. Then we have to just this is the repository, actually, the RPM repository that allows MySQL workbench to be there. So I need to just I remove this one. In order to do this one, either use yum or DNF, whichever one you use is fine on the Red Hat 8 and 9. Remove, and then we say MySQL workbench community. And then if you don't want to get prompted, you just say yes, -y. It is automatically, it's gonna erase the MySQL workbench, and now it's completed. So which MySQL workbench is not there anymore. It is not there. Okay. So that's how you uninstall package. The next thing I need to show you is on the Red Hat or Rocky Linux version, how to install something else, like for example, EPAL release.sh. So DNF or yum, whichever one you do, repo list, it shows you that EPAL is the extra package and there that is available. And with EPAL, that is extra package enterprise Linux version 9 that we enabled. That one, by enabling that one, you are going to get some other packages. Like if I say which htop, I don't have htop installed, but if I just say DNF list or DNF search htop, it will tell me that htop, the package is there. Whether I use DNF or yum, then I still get that one. So DNF provides htop, you will see the name of the package is there. Now I could say DNF install htop. So I could use DNF install htop, or I could say no, don't do it, and say yum install htop. So both of the yum and DNF or at this time are used interchangeably. So now if I just look which htop is installed, I can run htop. Is the graphical user interface of top, and it has menus and everything. You can see that one. You can run the htop, and it shows you all the processes. So if I quit out of that one and say htop, maybe -p process 1 and 2, and the system process just shows those ones. If I just say -p process 1, 2, 3, or whatever process that I want to list, it will do it. And if I just say -u root processes and -u user processes, I mean root processes. If I just say -u wahid, it will just show the process wahid. Obviously, the functions are very helpful. You can trace the process, you can kill it, you can do a lot of renice it and a lot of stuff. But I have had videos on htop. I already provide that details, and I'm not gonna go through that one again. So now yum remove htop. That will just remove it. Say yes, go ahead, remove it. That's how you remove it. And if you say, and this time use DNF install htop, it will just install it. Yes, now htop is just installed. Htop again, it is available. The package manager, DNF and yum and RPM are very, very useful on Red Hat. That's how you get those repositories there. So on the etc store, like yum store, if you look at this one, ls-ld, you see yum.conf and yum.repos.d. Similarly, if I say for DNF, those ones, there's a etc and DNF directory, and then the DNF also has this subdirectories that dnf.conf is the configuration modules and all other ones. So the yum, which is the older version, yum dot repos dot d will list all the repos that are enabled or being available for you to activate in Magee. So that's how those are there. At this time, if I just want to get another package, like for example, say DNF list HTTPD. That is Apache. So if I say system CPL status HTTPD, HTTPD is already installed, but it's not available. It's not online. So I could say system CPL start HTTPD. And then now run the status again, and it will show that one. PS minus EF direct minus I HTTPD, it is there. So Apache is there, and then I could say, well, if it is there, can I just start it there? Yes, you can do that one. And with the command line here being there, PS minus EF direct minus I HTTP, which Firefox, PS minus direct minus I HTTP, it shows that one is running. Firefox is there, so you start Firefox, and then going to the local host, that should take you to the default port, which is this one. So if I say HTTP colon local host, that is the Apache local host there. So if I go back to this activity and where I started the HTTPD, come back on the command prompt, say systemctl stop HTTPD, and it stopped it. Now I go back to the graphical user interface here on Firefox, and I right click and it's gone. That's not running anymore. So that's how you control the packages on just there. And if I just want to uninstall it, for example, now I have stopped it here, I can go back to the package manager here and say DNF list HTTPD. It shows me that package that is there. If I say RPM minus QA and then QA HTTPD just by itself, you could see that that is the package. And then if I just do QL, it will just listed all of them in there. Grep minus I conf, the configuration file, then the binary executables, if there's anything, HTTP there, and then all of this binaries, which Apache CTL, Apache CTL-T, that tells you if the syntax is good or not, server name and those information. You can correct it using the fully qualified name, localhost, local domain. And the way you do that one, you go to etc httpd, and then there is a directory called cvcon, then httpd.conf file, and then look for the server name. Server name is search for it, and then right here is commented. You can just put whatever name uncommented and there, and change it to the domain name you want to do it, and then WQ. I'm not going to do it because I'm not root. You can go as root and change it, and then fully qualified, and that DNS name is going to listen to it, and it's going to be there. But because I'm going to remove it, I don't need to make those changes on that package. So we did list it, and now say DNF remove HTTPD. I'm going to remove it for now. At another date, I can install it. I want to show you package managers, and that's what I'm doing. So that is also done. And then what else we could do here? I'll just leave some other ones for other platform. So at this time, if I exit out of this one, and then exit out here, and then all the way, and then close this, exit out of this one, and then log out here, power off, log out. And then completely log out this time, power off. You first log out and then you power off. So that one is done now. I just need to log in quickly to just check on the repo list, and then I'll get back to Red Hat afterward. This notification, you can close these notification. And when this one comes in for the login name, which is fast, it should be now providing me the login name. I type in my password. A lot of these password stuff is not gonna stay the same, and I'm not having these machine running, so don't worry about security aspect of it at all. If somebody's concerned, please don't be concerned, because I know what I'm doing. In DNF list, and then DNF repo list, it is showing those other ones are enabled. Then in order to do that one, you have to just disable them with the DNF dash disable, and then the packaging. Same way that you enable it. Or just go to the Yum repository list, and instead of 0, 1, and change it to 0, and then that will do it also. So at this time, I'm gonna log out here, and then power off the machine, log out first, and then power on, power off actually. So then I want to just do the same thing with Red Hat. And Red Hat, I believe, is algorithm, this one. This one is going to be the same, but I want to just do a number of testing on that one. Then we go jump into Yum. To the Ubuntu. Ubuntu is yummy, that's why. Yum. Okay, so we got out of here all these ones, and then we just log in here. Because Red Hat and Linux is so much the same, I'm gonna just use a quick check on the Red Hat, and as you can see, etc os-release, it gives you all the information. Cat etc Red Hat, Red Hat dash release gives you the 9.2 Linux, etc os star release. It tells you that there's no Rocky, because the name of the machine is Red Hat, so there's only Red Hat and OS-release and system-release. And then here we look at the cat etc system-release also. It is showing the same thing as Red Hat-release. And uname-a also give you that one, uname-r revision, uname-s for system name, uname-o operating system, so on. All of that one we already showed you on the other ones. So I'm going to become here root sudo sudash, and then at this time I'm gonna do a couple of things. So let me just do become root first, id-un is I'm root now. And then in order to I'm on the root directory here, there's no files here that are MySQL or other ones. So I have to download it from my documentation. I'm gonna say is copy wlutfi at www.mywebuniversity.com :/home/wlutfi/ program / Red Hat, and then start research. At this time, I'm gonna just do those ones, and I'm gonna just say give it the same name that were on that server. So whatever was on that server, I'm going to type in the password this time correctly. It wasn't tricky. The first time it was just an accident type mistake. So now I have on this directory clear screen ls minus l those two .sh file. So let's just get the workbench for community version also. I'm gonna say cat minus n MySQL workbench, and you can see that DNF update is marked. So I'm gonna say MySQL workbench. I'm gonna just run DNF update dash update as well. So let's just do clear screen, cat MySQL workbench, and then I'm gonna run say bash -x MySQL workbench and $sh. It runs the DNF dash y for update first, and then it runs the DNF dash install MySQL workbench. And if I just come here, say DNF repo list, you notice that the EPAL is just getting code ready is because of this line. Since I did it, it just added. The MySQL workbench is not there yet because I haven't done that one. So the repository list comes as a result of the command that you run with the DNF install or DNF repo that you're enabling. So that this one is almost done. MySQL community is working on that, and I'm going to be patient on this one, but I'm going to just open another shell here, clear screen, and then cd to root. And permission is denied because I'm just logged on as a user Wahid. So in order for me to become a root, I have to type in sudo access password for it. With sudo switch user do. So I go to root and then clear screen and then run this. Now say cat MySQL workbench, that one is there. The one that I was doing here was the MySQL workbench. Yeah, MySQL workbench. So the EPAL should not be there yet. And then I say DNF repo list. And notice that MySQL is all there. The Red Hat app stream is there, and then code ready for Linux is there. Some of them I might have done it previously. So I'm gonna just say, let's say DNF provides HTOC. If the package is not available, you will not get this one because I have done DNF repo list. Already the EPAL is there, the extra package EPAL is there. Now I have HTOC there, and you can see that this is part of that package there. So I could say DNF install HTOC. It will install HTOC, and then it's already was installed previously with HTOC, so I didn't need to do it. I could say HTOP and it runs it there. So I'm going to clear the screen, look at this other one. And this one is also almost done. For this one, you could also say DNF remove HTOP. If you want to remove it, you say yes, go ahead, do it. And then DNF provides, let's say, open SSH. And you can see that one. DNF provides Apache 2. So whichever package you are looking for, like Apache 2 was not in the list, you could say HTTPD. If it is there, it will give you the list there. And then Apache might just be with Apache. If there is a package there and that is there, Apache CTL is not going to list it. It is actually, that's the binary that is there. So when you say provides, you are giving the name of the binary or a shell script or something, it will find it. And it tells you if it's otherwise, like Python 3, it will just say the name of the package that is there. And then since I have, let's say Python 3 dash version, I have 3.9 point, let's say Python and 3 dash version, in 3.916, and the latest one is 3.916. So you could say DNF update Python 3, and it will go through, if it is not up to date, it will update it. Similarly, you can do GCC, DNF update GCC, if it is not there, or Firefox, you could just update them there. But because they're all updated, since I did a DNF update earlier, it all the package got updated. So now if I just run this one, most likely says no dependencies to be done. So since we run it on this command, and this command, the first one, it was running the DNF dash update, as you can see somewhere below before that. That's a lot. Okay, so the nice thing that you can look at your script and cat MySQL this and at DNF dash update we run it. So if you run it DNF dash Y for update, yes, it's going to say your system is up to date. No matter how many times you run it, the second time or third time or fourth time, it will just say dependencies on it. Because we did that one, if I just do anything, open and SSH, it will say that your system is up to date. Or you can say SSH, for example, or if it is not that package, let's say Firefox. I know that one is a package and it should say. So, oh, sorry, I was not checking on my type. So when you do this one, it's not minus Y something, it is minus Y update. So your system is up to date. So when you do this with SSH, you could see the same thing as nothing is no package marked for upgrade. And similarly for HTOP. HTOP is not installed now. When we do this one, we have to just say DNF install HTOP first, and then we say yes. And if I say which HTOP it is running there, so I could say DNF update HTOP, it is going to say your system is up to date. So DNF remove HTOP, it will just remove it. And then since I don't want to remove it this time, I say no. That's how you undo it. So I'm done with the package on this one also. I could just also do Apache, for example, here. Let me see which HTTPD. Actually, the workbench we installed it. Let's just check which MySQL workbench to see if it is going to start. So I'm going to say MySQL workbench, run it as root. See, it should, yeah, it did open up without any prompt, and it is giving you an option to connect and connect to the database, create an instance, and so on. So I'm going to close this one and then say close it. And then I'm going to exit out of here and run MySQL workbench with the regular user. And notice this one is not complaining about the version. So the workbench that was complaining was on the Rocky side, but this one is okay, and it is about workbench. It shows you 8.0 community edition that we have, and it is ready for us to practice on it. Okay. Thanks for watching on this one. Let me just log out of this one. I'm going to now show you that one on Ubuntu, and we will be done with this video after we are done with Ubuntu. So log out of this one. Power off. And then now I'm going to log in my Web University development version of Linux Ubuntu. I'm going to just start it, power it on, and go to the show, and then take this notification out, and take the mouse integration. And you can see Ubuntu is booting. My username Wahid is coming, and then I'm going to type in my password. Okay, for this one, the interface, as you can see, is Linux Ubuntu. So on Linux Ubuntu, if you right-click, open a terminal, you get this nice $sign PS1, which is pointing to the display. And not this software update is available for download. So I'm gonna do become root here. Sudo sudo dash, and then I can become root. First thing is this one. I'm gonna do the package manager instead of the DNF and yum. You could still do RPM -QA and then RPM not found. And so if it is not installed, then you can do apt install RPM. So let's do apt install RPM. In order to just use RPM on the Linux Ubuntu, then you have to do apt, which application package toolkit is the binary, which apt dash is there. So clear screen, which apt and dash cache. Oh, the which I mistyped it, that's why. Which app cache is there. So if I say what is app, it will tell you what is app cache and so on. There's a number of app stuff. So say where is app, for example, or which app. You can see under user bin, everything is that start with app something or available here. Clear screen ls-ld user bin app store, and you can see those are the app stuff. So if I want to see it without the long listing, I could do this also. So you can see app cache, app cd-rom, app config, and app. And then for the app, there's a file called etc app here called sources.list. So cat etc app sources.list is going to show you all the repository from Debian and that are coming. The reason this one is coming from app sources.list is all of this. If I just say grep -v and then just show the minus lowercase v and then encore and pound saying that don't show me the one that are kind of commented. So only -v means show me everything but the first character that start with the pound from the sources.list. So all of these ones are the actual Debian repositories that are enabled, that when I just do a download something or install something, I get it from this repository. So at this time, DNF list, well, I'm sorry, not DNF list, app list will show all the packages that are available. App by itself, if you do find more with -- help, notice there's a list command, there's search command, there's show command, install, remove, and update, and all of that, and details are there. There's also on the package manager, which Debian PKG, Debian package manager is the default one that is the mother of all the package managers, that app cache, everything gets installed by the dpkg. So when you do app that shows you a dash list, it shows you all of them. App dash uppercase L is going to you have to give the name of the package with dash uppercase L, and then you could just do -I for install it, and so on. All the options are there. So man dpkg is these are options are available here that you can just run. That this is as much as this is there on the lower end available for you. Everyone uses the app, which is the man to app. It just says that this is a front end interface for the provides higher command line interface for package management, which is the Debian PKG is the lower end, and then this is a much easier interface, and more options are available with it also. And app cache is also a very good command. So man app dash cache, you can see, for example, you could say app cache and then name of the packages, and show sources and show packages, and all of those ones are there as well. So like, for example, if you say app cache show pkg, the package name is OpenSSH, the same, and then or show snap, and then you could see the package before there. And then you could say, let me just clear the screen. I don't see this screen as well, so I'm going to resize this one because it bothers my eyes every time I want to resize it. And this thing, and okay, now it's better. So if I do app cache show snap, you will see that one, and show pkg snap, it will give you that kind of details. You could get it with sources, and if you gave the name of the source, you could just get that information. But with app, we could do app list to get all the packages that are there, and then do a word count -L. And if I just want to say app install httpd, it will just try to install it. And if it is Apache 2, let me just do Apache 2. So on the Red Hat, it was HTTPD. On the Ubuntu, that's Apache 2. This is installing Apache 2. The name of the package sometimes are a little bit different, so don't worry about it. You just figure out the name of the package or Google it through search. And so app search HTTPD, it will not show, or it did show, and then Apache 2 should show there, which is showing the information. So which Apache now Apache 2 was installed, I could say app info Apache 2. So that package information about that package is there as well. And if you want to search for it, you could do search. And if you want to get a show on it, run the show command. So there's a number of commands, and if I say which Apache CTL, it is there, and then which HTTPD, HTTPD is not there. So system CTL status Apache 2 was installed and is already running. So ps -lib direct -I Apache 2, you can see the process are there, and I could say just open another or click on Firefox here, and then just open Firefox here, and then just visit the local host, http://localhost, because Apache is running. You can see Apache to Ubuntu is running, and this is the configuration files, the default one, it works. So if I go back to this one, say systemctl stop Apache 2, then I just come back here and say refresh it, and now Apache is not running. Coming back on this one, and start it back, start, and then come back on the Firefox and refresh this one again, it is up and running. So you could see that how easy it is to control these packages. And then the configuration files and how to build Apache. I have other videos, please watch those videos. Each one of them are an hour and a half long or something. It would be just for package manager, it would be forever if I just cover each one of them in detail. So I'm going to just do another thing here. If I just do, for example, remove the Apache or something, let's do install HTOP. It's easier to remove it also. So app list HTOP, and that package is there. So at this time, the repository already had it. So app remove HTOP will just remove it, and then it did not apt auto remove to remove them. So I'm gonna say apt auto remove just to remove all everything that is ready for removal. Okay. Clear screen, which HTOP. Okay, HTOP is not there anymore. So I'm gonna say apt install HTOP. Which HTOP, app list HTOP. You can see that once installed, app info HTOP, app and show HTOP. So all of these commands are now working with HTOP, and then HTOP is working, and then we already give you demo. I'm not gonna go through HTOP, but I'm gonna say minus P1, com2, com3, just to show those ones, and then minus let's say minus u root, and you could run a number of ways those commands. So this time let's just do more on apt. So apt package, we installed it and removed it. MySQL, we did that one. What else I could do? I think I covered all of them for the Yemen DNF on the Red Hat side and apt with Ubuntu side. Yeah. The one thing I want to show you is the store release files. So if you do a etc store release, you can see that cat etc os-release is pointing to Linux Ubuntu 22.04.2 long-term support. Long-term support meaning that if it came on 2022, the long-term support is for another 5 years. That is going to be good under support for up to 2027. And then the name of the code is Jammy Jellyfish. And so that is the system. And when we're doing it also on the Red Hat, there's another package called Snap. Package handler Snap, and then Snap list would give you a list of the packages that are installed. With Snap, the only nice thing about Snap is that, opposed to apt has to resolve the dependency, but Snap is containerized. So the whole package Snap list, and then if you say grep -i Firefox, so Firefox is already part of it. So if I could say Snap list Firefox, that would show you there. Similarly, with the Snap, you can do info, you can do show, all the commands that you do with the app similarly, except show the rest of them. The Snap dash help, it will, sorry, Snap dash help, it will list you the commands that are there. Find, info, show is not there, but everything else is there. Stop, start, and refresh, and even you could do modules and aliases and other stuff, get. set and unset. So like snap, find, Chrome, yum. So if Chromium or Chrome, well, I'm going to say browser. So aside from Firefox, you have other Opera and Chromium. So I'm going to say snap install Opera. See, and the Opera is going to be another browser. It's a nicer browser also, but Chromium is much better. As you can see that everybody's using it. Opera is a lightweight version of a browser that from time to time you can install. So this one is installing it, but it is not as fast. So I'm gonna try sudo dash become root here also, and then say snap install Chromium. So like PyCharm community, you could do as well. Install Chrome. Yeah. Oh, Snap is already running. I cannot run two of them at the same time because one puts a lock on it and the other one, you have to wait for it. So this will just install Opera, and then similarly for Chromium, you could do it. But because Snap is there, if you just say app info Chromium, if it is the package is available, then you could do it through apt install there, but it's not available. So it's a Snap container. Unfortunately, the Chromium, the Opera is taking forever to do it for a package that is small, or maybe this big. Okay, so as you can see that the Opera is installed. So clear screen with Opera, and then Opera, if you run it as command line, let me just open this. I could say Opera, and then just to start Opera. And then right here, the icon comes in, and here, if I go to, let's say, google.com, I'm sorry, google.com, I mistyped it. So let me just correct that one. Google.com, it will just go Google, and then if I just want to go to jpl.nasa.gov, it will pull forward to HTTPS secure page, and if I make it bigger, you can see it is going to Jet Propulsion Laboratory. If I go to mywebuniversity.com, and it will go to my web university and so on. So I'm going to close this one and then say quit Opera, and it will quit it. And then here, similarly, if I just do the snap install Chromium. So already installed, see, refresh. Chromium is already installed, which Chromium. So it is already installed, I could just say Chromium. If it isn't already installed, you just don't need to install it again. I have to run it with a regular user, which is on this screen, Chrome, yeah. And that would just bring Google. So I could say HTTP colon, let's say www.oracle.com, and it will just go to oracle.com. Let's go to saturn.gpl.net. Southern.gpl.nasa.gov is the Southern project. So you could go wherever you want to go, and then I'm going to close this one. I'm going to exit out of this one, and I'm going to exit out of this one. I showed you a number of packages on this one, and I hope you like it. I hope you learned something from it, and then please make sure that you visit our site and then YouTube channel. So let me log out of this, power off. And before I say goodbye to you, nice people, I want to just make sure that you visit our site, My Web University YouTube channel, and then subscribe and watch all these videos and make some nice comments so I can improve it for your needs. Take care. God bless you all. Bye-bye.